Studio 105 Productions. Anything and everything. And shit. Podcast with Justin and Erik. What's going on, y'all?
What's up, everybody?
What's happening?
Yeah. Another day in the hood.
Yeah, man. Another Saturday at the Studio 105. Kicking it down with the beats and all that good shit, man. What's happening? What's cracking? All that good stuff.
Right. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's having a good Saturday.
Yeah, man. How was, we're the Saturday after Turkey Day, so hope everybody's Turkey Day was good.
Yeah.
How was yours? I know you said that you was having a Friendsgiving yesterday over at your kiddo's house or whatnot. All that good shit.
Yeah, it was fun. My stepson, Caleb, had a bunch of people over from his side of the family.
Nice.
My wife and I went over there, and some friends of his, and some coworkers and stuff. It was a good time. Just hung out, watched some football, some good food.
There was some good football on yesterday.
And that kid knows how to cook, man.
Yeah, so, dude, that's a plus, man.
And his mom both threw down yesterday.
Hell yeah, man. No,
awesome.
I used to always like having people over. That was like, back in the day and all that good stuff. But yeah, I always wanted to make sure I knew how to kind of cook or at least have some kind of good food. Even if I didn't cook it.
Right. Yeah, it was awesome, man. We had some good stuff.
No, that's awesome.
How about you?
It was cool, man. Just had the girls over and, my mom cooked and stuff like that. I mean, I helped out a little bit as much as I could. And, but yeah, it wasn't, nothing outstandingly crazy or anything like that. Just kind of more just chilled out watching the ball games and, ate some food and relaxed and just kind of freed my mind a little bit. So, yeah.
That's
so
cool.
It was good.
Saw the Bears beat the Eagles.
Dude, is that insane
Crazy.
or what? What the heck is going on with that, man?
I don't know.
I don't think anybody really predicted the Bears being where they're at, especially with the Lions and, the Vikings and Green Bay. I don't think anybody counted the Bears being as good. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of had a feeling they were going to get good because they did get Caleb Williams, and he is a good quarterback, whether
he's a weirdo or not.
His arrogance and all that. Is evident, but it doesn't really matter what I think about that. He is actually playing pretty good. He can run the ball and he can throw pretty well.
And those freaking comebacks too, man. Yeah. I mean, I give it up to him, man. I like I said, I didn't really count it just because how well they did last year. It was just kind of one of those things.
Right.
But, good for them. Good for their fans too.
Yeah,
I mean, they finally have something to kind of look at now and be like, oh yeah, we're back to being Bears fans.
Yeah, I know a few Bears fans that are probably pretty happy right now. So.
Yeah, because they're sitting on top of their conference. With Green Bay kind of looking at them, but I think they 2 games or 1 game ahead of them or something like that.
Yeah, Green Bay's not a chump team either. I mean, either is Detroit.
Yeah,
so.
I mean their conference
Minnesota
is actually
kind of fell off. But.
Yeah, but they got no. Yeah, he did get hurt. JJ McKay, didn't he get hurt a couple games?
On concussion protocol again.
Again, that kind of sucks, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, you like you said, you could be good in college.
Yeah.
And it depends on, for one, how tough you are.
Yeah.
If you're a tough quarterback in college and all that stuff, that's great. But when you get to the NFL, these guys are, 10 times faster. 10 times bigger.
Yeah.
Especially because they've been in the league already. So
and a lot, yeah, and that's you're going up against the best of the best,
right.
as they say, and I think it also depends, like how you're kind of saying, is the toughness of the quarterback. How did that college coach, was he tough on him, or did he just were they just oh yeah, just get us through, buddy, you're the one, and after they get done.
College coach?
I'm just talking about as general, just in general, college coach.
Yeah.
I mean, as we, you can see that that kid's great in college, and he gets in the NFL, and you're like, well, what the heck happened? And is it just because they were just babying and pampering him? And, now he got into the big boy league, and big boys are like, that's not how it's going to work, son. We don't get special offices, and we don't pamper your butt. And, you're going to have to wipe your own ass here, sir.
I mean, we might, if you're the Broncos, just for a couple years, we'll let it happen just to really hope, toss a Hail Mary and hope for the best.
Oh, man, that was just a big fiasco.
We're probably finally just getting past that point now where we're not paying for that anymore.
Well, it also came down to a whole new. It wasn't just a whole new team. It was new ownerships. It was getting rid of a lot of the people in the front offices. A great head coach picked up an awesome freaking rookie quarterback that's showing his talent and all that stuff. So it was a whole. Yeah. They wiped away the BS that was in that office that was making not so great decisions. Elway, yeah, I said it. I know you like it, but
just because I like him doesn't mean I don't think people make bad decisions.
Right, and that's what I'm getting at. I mean, he was a great quarterback, whether I liked him or not. But I don't think he really knew as well as other players of football as well as he might have liked.
I mean, he did win a Super Bowl.
Well, no,
as a general manager.
Peyton Manning won that, man. Peyton.
Well, who was the general manager of that team?
I'm not going to give him that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm not going to give him. I'm sorry, dude.
Okay, well, I mean, who puts the teams together on any team?
Well, I know it's a general manager, blah, blah, this and that, but Peyton could have went anywhere. It wasn't Peyton made the choice to come here. It wasn't John Elway made that choice to bring Peyton here. Peyton saw that this was his better place to fit.
So John Elway didn't say we're going to go after Peyton Manning?
Everybody went after Peyton.
Oh.
Peyton made that decision to go to what team he wanted to.
Okay.
He said he wasn't going to go to an NFC team because he didn't want to play his brother too often.
Okay, but we're talking about John Elway's decisions as the general manager, and I said he won a Super Bowl.
As a general manager.
And you're saying you're not going to give that to him.
Nah, I'm not.
Even though he won the Super Bowl as a general manager. That just sounds like you got John Elway derangement syndrome.
Yeah, that might be. I'll admit it. I don't. Hey, man,
okay.
I just, it is what it is. I get where you're coming from, but I'm not going to give it to him. I say Peyton Manning just came here.
Okay, so if Peyton Manning was on any other team because he went there, that general manager didn't win a Super Bowl?
Nah.
Even if it's not John Elway?
Yeah, if it wasn't John Elway.
Okay, so we're not going to get any valid information out of this
not
guy
out of that
at
one.
all.
I just don't like Elway
because he can't get above his little hatreds.
I can't. I'm sorry, but they did win.
Yeah.
But it
How
wasn't
many does
the
Cardinals have?
Hey, we showed up.
How many does Elway have as himself, and how many does the
himself?
Cardinals have?
I think it was a team effort.
Wait, how many has Elway been on that they won the Super Bowl, and how many Super Bowls has your team won?
My team's never won.
Thank you.
That don't matter.
Take a back seat, hater.
No. It don't matter.
He's just a hater. So anyway, Elway was the general manager of the Denver Broncos.
But Peyton came here on his own because he felt it was the best fit. It wasn't because of Elway. I'm sorry. That's just to where I'm going to stand on that one. You're not going to change my mind on it.
Well, how did it get to be the best fit if Elway didn't put that team together?
It was.
You
just
don't sound like you're coming from a very good spot here, bro.
It was just the best fit.
Okay.
I mean,
All right, so today, Erik has what?
We have the Georgia Guidestones, the craziness of, the mystery of where they came from and who paid for them, what the meanings are, what happened to their demise.
What is it?
So it's the Guidestones in Georgia. They're granite tablets that somebody had created, finished, and obviously did a beautiful job on them. I mean, they were even polished, cut down. I think they were like 16 feet tall. Cut into, engraved, polished.
And in Georgia?
It was in Georgia, yes. So
We're
they did
talk about who made them and
blew it up. Who came? Well, yeah. They did get destroyed. Unfortunately, who made them is a mystery. Funding and all that stuff. I mean, there's 50 million different kind of theories. I'm not going to use the C word, okay? Because I know you don't like the C word with that one. But there are different theories, and I totally get where you're coming from because it was a government transformed word that, but there are different theories of where they came from, why they're there. Some people say that they're satanic and blah, blah. And there's, I don't know. When I looked into them, I was like, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of curious, so, and what do you got for us?
A satanic cult called the 764 group.
764. That's kind of crazy.
I guess they're a satanic cult that basically sextorts people, among other things. But it's from what I understand, they've kind of morphed into a bunch of other groups. I don't want to call them gangs, but I want to call them groups. And so we'll kind of cover that. And it's the person that I heard, this information from, they were saying it's one of the scariest things they've ever seen in their life, and from what I've heard from them, that it is pretty damn scary. And the fact that it's out there right now. And the thing is, it's not just, in my mind, centered just around this one group. It's actually all over the place. And we'll kind of get to that. So, so we'll cover those two things. We're going to take a quick break.
Cool, bitch.
But when we get back, we'll jump right into the Georgia Guidestones.
The Georgia Guidestones.
Yeah.
Very weird stuff, man.
All right, everybody, hang tight.
What's up, fancy people? Welcome back.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Hell yeah.
All right. So here we go. You ready to jump into this category of theories of the Georgia Guidestones?
The Georgia Guidestones.
Right. So there's all kinds of weird stuff going on about these things and where they came from, what they happened, and unfortunately they did get a demise too because of haters, I would imagine. So in 1979, some guy, what was his name? His name is R.C. Christian. So I guess came up with this idea to make these guide stones, basically. Some are the new 10 Commandments, blah, blah, this and that. It's not, to me, it's just something that, I guess, the 10 Commandments would be a ledger of what to follow, basically, guide stones, I guess, in a sense, right? Just smaller tablatures, I guess, right? So, and it's weird, so I wanted to kind of find out what these guide stones had said that kind of have set people off. When in the first two, I could see why that would make people a little edgy and sketchy. Is one was the population, to have under 500 million people just on the planet, which were over. When was the last time that there was 500,000 people or 500 million people on this planet? I mean, that would have been, who knows, right? Before, what would you say?
1972.
I'm just saying. I mean, when did we reach the brink of over that? I mean, China's had 1 billion people for as long as I can remember, right? I mean, they always had that story of you could stack a person in China and try to push them off the ledge, and it would never be ending. So, I mean, the population control of 500 million is way over. So, I'm thinking these were kind of maybe meant for after some kind of maybe a nuclear apocalypse or maybe even a comet coming. And if you think about it now, we've been having a lot of comets and asteroids coming through our solar system. So maybe somebody had some kind of idea that maybe our time was getting close to being up, and these were just something that they thought that maybe mankind would follow, or something that, I mean, it's kind of weird to me, me sitting there thinking so there was only going to be people in the United States left over or something like that, or who knows how they would have found them, but they were just something to maybe push people into a more of a civilized civilization, maybe. I don't know. Just some of when you watch the videos, that they kind of give a little bit of what the meanings of the 10 guides are, and a lot of, to me, like I said, the 500 million population. That's a weird one, and I think a lot of people get scared. It's like, oh, they're going to take people out. I think, like I said, I think this is after an apocalypse already happens. I don't think that they're saying that, we are going to destroy the people. But as you watch these videos, you will see that maybe it is, because, look at the COVIDs and, the H1 and, it was the H1N1, right? The swine flu. Something like that, right? And that was a devastating one as well. So maybe they are trying to knock us off a little bit. I know that there's always those big theories of why COVID came around. And then the other one, which was kind of funny, is to reproduction. To slow down reproduction and only reproduce the best, which I was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. So in a sense, you kind of see that happening too, especially now with AI coming about, because it's like, well, who's going to be the workers if you're only, having the elite, who's going to work for them? Well, AI. So that just kind of popped into my whole thing too. I know you've kind of checked it a little bit out, in some of it. We watched a video of the of this, especially with the Who. What's the Who factor, right?
The what?
The video that we watched, the Who factor.
The Who factor.
Oh, no, not the Who files. That's it. That's the
Who.
The
Y files.
The Y files. Goddamn.
Yeah.
You're like, what the? I was close, man. Sorry. It was started with a W. Just as like, what the? But no, and he does a really good explanation of what has happened and why he thinks, and he does give that name out too, which is kind of cool. I'm not gonna spill it out because I want you all to watch that video, because Justin dug that up for us, and
we'll check it out real quick here.
Yeah.
On July 6, 2022, a bomb detonated on a 5-acre plot of farmland in Elberton, Georgia. The explosion destroyed a large monument that stood on the property for over 40 years. Known as the Georgia Guidestones, it was 4 monolithic slabs of granite weighing over 230,000 pounds that contained a set of rules for a more peaceful and orderly society. The identity of the builder was a mystery for 40 years, but today I'll tell you who he was. But why did he want to keep his identity a secret? Probably for the same reason the Georgia Guidestones were destroyed. Because, according to the Guidestones, the way to a perfect society is through a one-world government, genetic and racial purity, and massive global depopulation. In other words, a new world order. In June 1979, a well-dressed man using the pseudonym Robert C. Christian approached Joe Finley, president of Elberton Granite Finishing Company. R.C. Christian wanted to build a monument to rival the magnitude and awe of Stonehenge. R.C. Christian had recently visited Stonehenge and was impressed, though he felt it was missing something, a message. But what kind of message? The reason R.C. Christian used that name is that he was a Christian. There's no more famous Christian message than the 10 Commandments. And religious or not, the 10 Commandments have rules that all of us should follow. Don't lie, don't steal, don't hurt anybody. But those are rules for an individual. R.C. Christian was thinking bigger. R.C. Christian said he represented a small group of loyal Americans who had spent the past 20 years planning an unusually large and complex monument. He brought with him a scale model with some very detailed specifications. The structure would stand 16 feet tall and consist of 4 stones arranged in the shape of a cross, capped with a central stone. The monument would need to display its message in the 8 most spoken languages in the world: English, Spanish, Russian, Chinese, Arabic, Hebrew, Hindi, and Swahili. It would also show the message in 4 dead languages: Babylonian cuneiform, Egyptian hieroglyphics, Sanskrit, and classical Greek. Joe Fenley wasn't taking any of this seriously, but when R.C. Christian began to describe the monument, Fenley stopped what he was doing. Not only was this out-of-towner asking for stones larger than any Fenley had ever quarried, he wanted them cut, polished, and arranged as an enormous astronomical instrument.
The 4 standing stones should outline the migration of the moon over a year. A small viewing hole in the middle support stone will need to always show the North Star. A slot at the top of the middle support stone should align with a winter and summer solstice's rising sun and indicate noon at the equinoxes. A hole should be drilled through the capstone that focuses the sun on the center column at noon to indicate the day of the year.
R.C. Christian had one final request that caused a few people to question the purpose of the Georgia Guidestone project. The stone should be made to withstand the end of the world. Christian asked if there was a trustworthy banker in town.
Well, there's a problem. There's no such thing as a trustworthy banker.
Well, that's a good point. But still, Fenley sent R.C. Christian to the Granite City Bank and told him to ask for the bank president, Wyatt Martin. At the bank, Martin and Christian came to an agreement. Martin would help set up the bank account where funds could be transferred to pay for the Guidestones, but the account couldn't be set up under a false name. R.C. Christian understood and agreed to give Martin his real name, but only if he promised to never tell anyone who he really was or who he represented.
No, but we know, right?
We do. We're getting there.
Fine, but don't take too long. The suspense is giving me agita.
Wyatt Martin agreed and would be the only man to ever know R.C. Christian's true identity. Despite being hounded for years about this, Martin kept his word to his dying day. So R.C. Christian transferred the funds, purchased 5 acres of land in Elbert County, Georgia, and construction finally began. And just like that, R.C. Christian was gone, and nobody would ever see him again. Over the years, thousands of visitors from all over the world would come to see the Georgia Guidestones. But what was so special about the stones? It was more than just an impressively large granite construction. It was the new 10 Commandments, sandblasted in 4-inch high letters that R.C. Christian left to benefit humanity.
Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Unite humanity with a living new language. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature.
At first glance, some of these commandments seem fairly innocent and maybe even cliche. But when you take a closer look, the guides are unsettling. Some have claimed that the Georgia Guidestones are instructions for a new world order, an open call for eugenics, genocide, and a one-world government. But we're told this is all conspiracy theory, that there's no evidence to support these claims.
But there's evidence.
Oh yeah, plenty of it. At first glance, the 10 rules on the Georgia Guidestone sounded like a cheesy New Age bumper sticker. But if you read them carefully, they're disturbing. Let's start with the first one. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. The current population is just under 8 billion people. To achieve the Guidestone's ideal population means that roughly 94% of people on Earth would need to be eradicated. And there are many people and think tanks that support this. On this channel, we've covered the Club of Rome, that defines itself as a nonprofit, informal organization of intellectuals and business leaders whose goal is a critical discussion of pressing global issues. Fine. But what the Club of Rome doesn't advertise so openly is that it was created in 1968 by the Morgenthau Group during a secret meeting at Rockefeller's private estate Bellagio.
Oh, here we go.
In August 1980, just a few months after the Guidestones went up, Howard Odom, a member of the Club of Rome, said, "It's necessary that the U.S. cut its population by 2/3 within the next 50 years. He didn't mention how this should be accomplished, but there are theories.
Ooh, I love theories.
I know you do.
But it does mean if you want the same standard of living, we're going to have to cut our population in the U.S., for example, certainly to 1/4. But that we have so many wasteful things, that won't be hard.
You say it won't be hard to cut the population by 1/4?
And it just takes one generation to get a population down, if nobody bred for one generation.
You've probably heard of the Bilderberg Group. It was formed in 1954 as a way to prevent another world war. That's what they say publicly. So why are Bilderberg meetings so secret? Secrecy has created all kinds of conspiracy theories.
I love theories.
I know you do. One of these is that the Bilderberg Group believes that the current population growth is not sustainable. Allegedly, one way the Bilderberg Group would try to reduce human population is by causing pandemics.
Oh no.
The theory also says the Bilderberg Group will keep their true plan secret by consolidating all media to a handful of mega companies, and then use governments to work with these media companies on censoring any ideas that go against the group's wishes.
Ooh, that's not a theory, that's true.
Well, of course it's true. Just look at Twitter. Both Trump and Biden aggressively pressured Twitter into censoring any information that went against their agendas. But whether the Bilderberg Group is behind this or not is unknown.
Yeah, unknown only if you're a sheep.
And guess who writes the foreign policy for the Bilderberg Group?
The Club of Rome?
The Club of Rome. Now, it's been alleged that the Club of Rome supports massive depopulation using any means necessary.
Well, didn't we fight World War II over these ideas?
Well, funny you should mention that. The founder of the Bilderberg Group was Prince Bernhard. At the beginning of World War II, he was a Nazi SS officer.
Of course he was.
Now, to be fair, after Germany conquered France, Prince Bernhard switched sides and fought for the Allies.
Oh, so that makes him okay?
Hey, I'm just giving both sides of his story. But many people say that all of this is nothing but conspiracy theory, that the Georgia Guidestones don't want to reduce the current population, but instead are instructions for how to rebuild society after a cataclysmic world event. Okay, let's say that's true. How should the remaining survivors maintain control of the population? And who decides? The second Guidestone rule addresses this. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. R.C. Christian wrote a book entitled Common Sense Renewed, which he sent to each member of Congress in 1986. Among a myriad of statements, Christian wrote,
It is vitally important that each national government have a considered population policy. The need is urgent and should take precedence over other problems, even those of national defense.
Okay, so he wants the government in charge. So what kind of people should the government allow to have children?
Responsible parenting will consider both genetic and environmental factors. We must seek to produce healthy children and then to mold their characters and to develop their potentials as socially worthwhile adults who will in turn carry the process indefinitely into the future. We have a grave duty to use all available knowledge in perfecting the forces which guide our procreation. It is within our power to leave behind us a new generation of humanity, slightly superior to our own in intellectual, physical, and social capabilities.
Yeesh, this sounds a lot like China.
Oh yeah, he's a fan of punishing people who want big families.
A few generations of single-child families will make possible dramatic improvements. Irresponsible childbearing must be discouraged by legal and social pressures.
Allowing only worthy people to reproduce to create a generation of genetically superior children? That's called eugenics.
Oh, so that's frowned upon, eh?
It is. It's what the Nazis did, or tried to do. It's also a war crime. But maybe not a crime at all in the New World Order. The Rockefeller that helped create the Club of Rome is the same guy who founded the Population Council in 1954. The Population Council supported, and still supports, research in birth control and early birth termination, specifically in those people with undesirable genetics. How do we know? Rockefeller said so.
Modern civilization had reduced the operation of natural selection by saving more weak lives and enabling them to reproduce, resulting in a downward trend in genetic quality. An organization needed to be created that would be devoted to the reduction of fertility of weaker individuals with undesirable genetics.
One of the members of the Population Council, as recently as 2020, has been accused of supporting forced sterilization. The council is still active today. It operates its programs in Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the Middle East. Notice that North America and Europe are not on that list. Now, maybe it's just a coincidence, but the council is focused on countries that are primarily non-white. The Population Council takes in millions upon millions of dollars every year. And the biggest contributor? The United States government.
Improved public health has caused the world's infant mortality rate to decline by 60% over the last 40 years. In the same period, the world's average life expectancy has increased from 46 years in 1950s to 63 years today. The negative impact of population growth on all of our planetary ecosystems is becoming appallingly evident.
Guide number 1 was population control. Guide number 2 was breeding a superior society through eugenics. Guide numbers 3 and 5 are just as chilling.
Unite humanity with a living new language. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court.
uniting the world under a new single language and rectifying all disagreements in a world court, these are key to creating the New World Order. And local ministers pointed out that the book of Revelations warned of a common tongue and a one-world government as the accomplishments of the Antichrist. And guide number 4, rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. This also upset Christians who believe in faith above all. After all, it's the first commandment. God said, "You shall have no other gods before me." God wasn't down with tempered reason. These seemingly anti-faith messages made the Georgia Guidestones a location for alleged satanic worship, witchcraft, and pagan rituals. Elberton locals have reported seeing lights near the Guidestones. They've heard chanting. They found melted candles on the capstone. Now, no humans were sacrificed there, but I can't say the same for a few chickens who had a less than amazing visit to the Georgia Guidestones. Now, other theories suggest that the stones were built on native Hopi lands, and that the Hopi have a prophecy regarding the ushering in of a new world. Other theories say that the stones are set on ley lines along with other icons like the Great Pyramids, Great Wall of China, and Stonehenge. And that's not even mentioning the proposed connections to the Order of the Rosy Cross, the Rosicrucians, who deserve their own episode. But the biggest mystery of all was, who funded this project? Well, it would take 35 years, but we finally have our answer.
The planet can support something like 1 billion people. If you want more liberty and more consumption, you have to have fewer people. And conversely, you can have more people. I mean, we could even have 8 or 9 billion probably if we have a very strong dictatorship, which is smart. Unfortunately, you never have smart dictatorships. They're always stupid. But if you had a smart dictatorship and a low standard of living, you can have but we want to have freedom and we want to have a high sentence. So we're going to have 1 billion people. And we're now at 7, so we have to get back down. I hope that this can be slow, relatively slow, and that it can be done in a way which is relatively equal, so that people share the experience and you don't have a few rich, trying to force everybody else to deal with it. So those are my hopes. I mean, these are pretty pessimistic hopes, but I mean, that's what lies ahead.
Over the years, internet detectives have had many theories about the true identity of R.C. Christian. Businessman and founder of CNN, Ted Turner, was a leading candidate. He had the money, his foundation was created to protect the environment, and he specifically said that the greatest threat to civilization is overpopulation. But Ted Turner can't be R.C. Christian.
Why not?
Because Ted Turner is still alive.
Oh, this Christian guy's dead?
Yep. Wyatt Martin, the bank owner who knew Christian's true identity, kept Christian's identity a secret. Christian and Martin exchanged letters at least twice a year until Christian's death. The letters were never sent from the same place, nor were the funds transferred from the same place twice. Martin passed away in December 2021, but he did drop some clues along the way, whether he meant to or not. Martin confirmed that Christian died after the year 2000. He mentioned that Christian had a daughter, and that he was in basic training in Georgia before being deployed in World War II. Martin said that Christian was from the Midwest, and at some point he worked in construction.
Is that enough?
Almost. What sealed the deal was something that took place in 2005, when a documentary crew was filming Dark Clouds over Elberton. Wyatt Martin had recently suffered a stroke and was in pretty bad health. The film crew pressured him to show them the letters that he received from R.C. Christian over the years. Martin was reluctant, but eventually agreed, though he was careful to hide his postmarks on the envelopes when he was showing them to the camera. But the cameraman was able to grab a close-up shot of an envelope in the box which had a return address.
Kind of a dick move to take advantage of the old timer, huh?
I agree, but even though we may not like the way we came about this information, it doesn't change the fact that we have it. So using this information, people on the internet did what they do best.
Oh, leave nasty comments on videos about how your content sucks?
No, they tracked down the address.
Oh.
The letters came from Dr. Herbert Hinsey Kirsten, a surgeon from Fort Dodge, Iowa. Kirsten is an old German form of the name Christian.
He died after 2000, like the old timer said?
Kirsten died in 2005.
Yahtzee!
Now, according to Kirsten's obituary, he served in World War II. He He was a conservationist who loved nature and trees. He was a naturalist who was very involved in environmental and world population issues.
Bingo, this is the guy.
Kirsten also worked in construction when he was younger, and he had 2 sons and 2 daughters.
Wait. The guy who wants to limit people to 1 rugrat had 4 of them?
Yep.
Rules for thee, but not for me, huh? You sure this guy wasn't in Congress?
Well, I'm sure, but he did have a couple of famous friends. One of them was William Shockley. Shockley was a physicist and inventor. He actually won the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1956.
Yeah, sounds like a good guy.
Well, he was also known for being a racist who supported eugenics.
Oh, I take back what I said.
Now, Shockley argued that less intelligent people were having too many children and reducing the average intelligence of the population. He also believed some races were more intelligent than others. Clearly, Dr. Kirsten, aka R.C. Christian, shared similar views. Though the Georgia Guidestones aren't specifically racist, we know that Dr. Kirsten was a supporter of David Duke, former Grand Wizard of the KKK.
Oof, maybe it's not so bad that somebody blew these things up, huh?
Well, destruction of the Guidestones is the final piece of the story. Or is it? On July 6, 2022, just after 4 a.m., CCTV picked up an individual running to the stones carrying something. Seconds later, there's an explosion, and one of the 4 monoliths is destroyed. Less than a minute later, a car is captured on camera leaving the scene. What's strange is, within hours, heavy equipment was brought in to clean up the site. Shouldn't this have been a crime scene for longer than a few hours? ATF was on the scene almost immediately. Weren't they curious about what kind of explosive was used? What components it was made of? What kind of trigger device was employed? Modern forensics can give us all kinds of information, but all the evidence was quickly removed. The Guidestones were in a remote location. There's only one road in or out. There's no footage of this vehicle once it leaves the area. It's the middle of the night in northern Georgia. It would be one of the only cars on the road, but we don't have any new information.
Government was in on it?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there are questions that can now never be answered because the site, along with any evidence, was cleaned up almost immediately. It's very possible this was carried out by someone who is very anti-government, or maybe someone who is just anti-hypocrisy. All these people that want us to live by the one-child policy seem to have plenty of children. Rockefeller had 6 kids. William Shockley had 3. R.C. Christian, aka Dr. Kirsten, had 4. But the rest of us are only allowed to have 1 child, and only if we're genetically fit. Who decides who's genetically fit? Well, they do. They want to limit the population of the Earth without acknowledging that it was the rapid growth and advancement of the human race that allowed them to amass ridiculous wealth. Now that they have theirs, they want to limit what we can have. These same people are the ones who scream about climate change, fossil fuels, pollution. They want to decide who can own what kinds of vehicles and how much energy you can use to warm your house in the winter. But how did J.D. Rockefeller make his money? Oil. Aurelio Pache, who founded the Club of Rome, he made his fortune working for Fiat, a huge company that makes cars, trains, planes, tractors, and military equipment. When they were making their families rich and powerful, the climate wasn't as big a concern, but now it is. All the problems facing our planet can be solved like they've always been solved, through our collective innovation and cooperation. All of us. But the elites don't want cooperation. They want control. They don't see any problem with this. They have superior genetics. They don't believe we're intelligent enough to make these decisions for ourselves, so they'll make those decisions for us. It's very possible, and maybe even likely, that whoever destroyed the Georgia Guidestones was aware of this hypocrisy.
So that's pretty, it's pretty interesting. And it kind of sucks is, that whole thing of, whoever came and blew it up. I don't understand like how they're saying of why they tore it down so quickly, because it seemed in that video, you could see the other structure still there. It only seemed like one of the tablets, but they said it was dangerous and whatnot. And yeah, why did they tear it down so quick?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and, you know me, I'm one of those guys that I'm always looking at it from like
the different,
whatever you tell me, I'm going to think of it some other way.
Right.
Like no matter what it is. So when they say, that it was destroyed, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
There was only part of it that was destroyed. Right. When they say they were over there, the ATF was there instantly, didn't care what they used to blow it up. It's because they knew what it was already. And when they say, well, we went down there and, tried to get the time capsule, nothing was there. Yeah, it's like that's exactly what I would say if we were, digging into Fort Knox and I was the first one in. I'd be like, bro, nothing in there. You guys go home.
Right. Or if I found something even crazier in there. Now,
that's the thing. It's like, in my, the keep population under 500 million, whether that's after an apocalypse, whether that's what this is about, I don't know.
Right.
But I do know that these people are all in cahoots or funded by entities that are nihilists, that do want the end of human civilization, that they think that overpopulation is a real thing, so they want to try to kill off the population. And like the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, those people are all about control, man.
Right.
And so if you're telling me that this guy is even closely connected in any way, shape, or form with the Rockefellers, then
right.
I already don't.
And see, that was kind of weird, is that whole Rockefellers thing and all that. And then the whole thing is, there was so the whole RC Christian is there's also a theory of saying that the RC stands for Roman Catholic, and the Christian is obviously part of the church as well. So they were saying that maybe they funded it.
Yeah, but the Roman Catholic Church wouldn't want a new world order, because the Roman Catholic Church is already a pillar in this society. They are the religion pillar. We're the military pillar, and Europe is the financial pillar.
Yeah.
So that's why we have Washington, D.C. That's not a part of a state. It's its own city. Its own little city. London. Right. It's the same thing. It's not part of the UK. It has ancient royal rights.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, I mean, I can understand why, but I didn't really know but yeah, that's kind of funky.
So I'm just saying, like, all of it's set up.
Right. Well, and so there's the other thing too, is like they're saying that it's America's Stonehenge, and that it was used for as a calendar and astrology, and there is a hole that was put into one of the pillars that it's
in the capstone.
Right, as the stone, as the sun went by, it would hit the light, and it said that the light from the hole would actually hit like on a date and a time and all that kind of stuff, to kind of just it was just more of
a calendar
of
like
a calendar,
sundial.
right? As a sense and stuff like that. So there's all kinds of weird theories about it. They're saying that people were doing sacrifices and all that stuff, but there was any real evidence of any kind of human. They said that they found a couple of chickens and some candles, and I'm like, yeah, it's just probably some kids out there being hooligans and messing around. I don't think it was any kind of real Satanist cult or anything like that. I mean, you never know. I mean, it is kind of the world is a crazy word place and stuff like that, especially but going through the other ones of besides the two that we're talking about, the population control and breeding and all that stuff, it did talk about loving nature as well. So I'm kind of have a weird theory of like some hippies kind of might have wrote this thing and just kind of was like, here you go, like, hey, love each other, love the planet, trying to get everybody to
population control is a form of climate control. So what I'm trying to say is they're using population as a reason why the climate is out of control. And so you depopulate the earth, it stabilizes the climate.
Right.
It's all connected. They're not two different groups. They're the same group.
So I know that they said that the climate, when everything was shut down back with the whole, that the climate kind of did clear up a little bit. Well, I'm not okay. I will say the air pollution cleared up a little bit because the carbons weren't being put out as much. Because
when was this?
During the COVID, when everybody was locked up, right? Because nobody could use cars. There was no planes.
That's exactly what they want to say. If they're going to push forward with the climate shutdowns, bro. So, the climate's messed up, so you can't go to work today. You're laughing.
Well, no,
that's an actual thing. That's the whole point of this climate control bullshit. Holy shit.
It did clear up. There wasn't as many carbons put in the air.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that's what. It's not going to control what's going on with the climate. It's going to help it a little bit if we didn't have so much carbons.
What's going to help it?
If we didn't have so many carbons in the air. It'd
From
be better
what?
from everything. You know, even the chemtrails and all that stuff.
Existence.
Yeah. You know, Erik.
It'd be so much better if you didn't exist.
It might be. I mean, I don't know.
Really?
I'm sure some people probably say that.
I'm sure there is some people that are out there saying that.
I'm.
And you're okay with it though. You're like,
I mean, it's
no, it's no problem. That's how desensitized people are. They're like, cool, man. I'll just go ahead and walk into that guillotine. No big deal. They said it was what we're supposed to do.
Well, no, I'm not gonna go jump off a cliff because they said that the Earth would be better without me. But I'm not gonna care what they say about that. I mean, it doesn't affect me, right? I mean, if they say that.
It is affecting you if you're not seeing the red flags when they're popping up all over the place in front of you and you aren't doing anything about it. Eventually, you will be in that position where you're like, what? It's not real. I don't even think that's real. And then it's too late, man, because it's already fucked you up.
Well, the planet's already fucked, right? Population is over.
How is the Earth fucked?
How?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the oceans, bro. The oceans are gross.
Really?
Yeah. The oceans are gross.
The body of water that we haven't even looked at 95% of, it's disgusting.
It kind of is, bro.
Where people are.
Well, right. And that's the thing is because people are there, right?
So if you shit in that puddle and say, man, the whole world is just full of shit.
Well, technically, the world is kind of full of shit, right? Because where does it go?
Okay.
I've always wondered that, like, where does our turd go?
The sewer.
Well, yeah, but it's got to go somewhere, right? Do they just pump it?
Treatment plant.
Yeah, but what do they do with the solid?
They get it out.
But where's it go?
They probably make bread out of it.
I don't think that's kind of almost like Soylent Green. But anyways, so with this whole population thing and all the guide stones, now my personal belief is just like, at the end of the world, it was just kind of something for people to follow. I'm sure there's other, like how you're saying, different reasonings behind it. I look for the simpler, just easier, kinder ways. But yeah, I know it's for the demonics, you know.
I didn't say it was demonic.
It's for population, right? Controlling of the population. So it would be kind of, isn't that what the video has said even?
It didn't say anything about demonic.
Well, it said something about with the devil and the if it's overpopulated.
If you're trying to kill me, I'm going to think that you're a bad person, so that you're evil. If you're trying to take me out. And if you're saying that there's too many of us, I have to go, then I'm going to think you're evil and you're a bad person. And I don't care what anybody thinks, bro. I don't care if you're on what side. It just does not matter to me. If you're trying to take me out, then you're on the wrong side to me. So I don't think it's evil, but I do 100% think it is something that is set to control. I think that having a population under 500 million people is something that's controllable. And that everything on there was about control. Eugenics, making sure that only the responsible parents have babies, making sure that only one baby per family. Like, that's communism, man. That's 100%. It's New World Order control, communism stuff. In my mind, that's what it is. I don't think it's some, I think that people are trying to speculate and say, well, it's probably after the world explodes because the world's fucked because it's climate change.
I
which
didn't
is
say that
bullshit.
Was from
if
climate change.
If in India they're throwing dirty diapers in the frickin' pond in their backyard, it's gonna stink, man. It doesn't mean the whole world's fucked. It means that they need to clean their shit up. The Earth is gonna outlast anything that we can do to it, besides blowing it up with a nuclear bomb. None of this stuff that we do on this planet is actually affecting the planet. It's a rock. It's gonna do what it does. We're the ones that are expendable. it will be here billions of years past us.
Well, right.
So it's bullshit that we're ruining the earth. And I don't think that this has anything to do with anything other than climate change is like exactly what I said. It's related to population control. And when I say climate change with the quotes, I mean it, because it's two words that have been put out there to make money. It's the same old story, man. The sky's falling. Everybody freak out. You got some money? We can probably make the sky fall a little slower for you. It's bullshit.
I don't know. I don't think it's all. Well, I don't go as deep as tree huggers and some, like, I can see the change. I see it in patterns. But like you say, it always does. We're excelling it a little bit in my beliefs. How I see it. Is it going to stop? No. Is this...
But how are we excelling it?
With trash and carbons and waste. It's
Carbons.
there. Carbons.
Okay. I'm just asking.
Smoke is carbon, right? So you're saying that if we fill the air
Smoke?
with... Yes, smoke, diesel fuels, gas fuels, all that stuff. Yeah, is it a mass?
Exhaust, you mean?
Yes.
That's not smoke.
It's exhaust. Yeah. Smoke, exhaust. Either way.
Okay.
But they're carbons that fill the air, and I believe, right? Because I can see it, right? It's explained, and I see it, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
See it where?
What, carbons? From the time change of the Industrial Revolution, right? More carbons have filled the air, correct?
I don't know that.
Well, I mean,
how would I know that?
They test the airs.
Who did?
Okay, the government. All right. So, well, right. Okay, so I mean...
Okay, everything that you're saying is from a source. And what I'm saying is, who the fuck is the fucking source? Can they be trusted? We're sitting here talking this whole time about how we can't trust the government.
Right.
And now you're acting like I should just trust the government.
I'm not saying... Okay, weather people.
Yeah, you are saying it.
Weather people, right? Meteorologists. They're not part of the government, are they? But
no,
they say...
but I don't see the weather lady saying there's a lot of carbons out there today.
I have.
On what channel?
On Channel 4. Okay. Who, I don't want to say it's green. Mike, is it Channel 7? Yeah, Channel 7. Always talking about the carbons. Always since the Industrial Revolution of how they built up and how they're still building up.
We just saw how 6 corporations own the media.
He's a meteorologist.
Of course he is, working for the media. He works for somebody, right? Well, and that company is owned by somebody, and it's one of those 6 groups. And if they want you to fucking think that there's climate problems, then they're going to tell you on the news every day.
I go outside and see that there's climate problems, but whether it always changes, yes.
But that's my question, is how do you see climate problems?
I go outside, and since I've been here in Colorado, okay, so... When I first moved here in April, it snowed. How much snow are we getting in April nowadays? Right? So it's changing, right?
Because it didn't snow in April?
The patterns are changing, yes.
No. So what, next year it snows in August and then it snows until May? Now you're going to say what? It snowed a lot.
Change.
How is it climate change? It's what the climate does.
Right, but it's changing.
It's not.
Okay, so if it usually snows in April and then it snows
You're right. Climate is changing.
All I'm saying.
But it's not because of us.
We aren't helping it, is what I'm
yes,
saying.
You're saying it's because of us.
Not 100%.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you can't say it's not, or it's like just a little bit. What you're saying is we are pushing along the climate change. And then you're using the weather as some kind of basis on saying, well, it didn't snow until, yesterday, and it's November 29th.
If it gets hotter, right? If it gets hotter in a pattern, it's changing, right?
Okay. So look at these pictures. When they talk about how the ice caps are melting and the water's rising and all this shit, and look at these pictures of all of our ocean and seafront property in just the United States alone. Look at all of that. Not 1 foot. It hasn't moved an inch. Nothing. There's a reason why they build these things there. Because it's not going to move. But if they want you to freak out about shit, it's just like these winter blasts whenever there's a snowstorm. Like, we got a pinpoint weather day today. There ain't shit going on. The snow is already gone before I even came in this morning.
Right.
But they made sure that there was a red thing on there so that everybody's going to check the news. Everybody's going to make sure we check in with the guys that tell us what's up.
Okay.
It's bullshit is what I'm saying, man.
It can't all be bullshit, though.
Yes, it can all be bullshit.
Everything is bullshit.
Yes.
Everything that we come across. Everything.
Dude.
Right?
Think about who we're talking about.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay. So if you're telling me that I need to fucking stop being myself because no, you are. You're saying that everybody on the planet is pushing the climate forward and making it change. You are saying that I am part of that. So don't say I'm not, because you just said it. So you're saying that I'm a part of some kind of...
It contributes to the carbons that are in the air, right?
Really?
I'm not saying that don't stop driving.
You're saying don't be alive, because we breathe carbons. That's where carbons come from. The trees,
the
air,
trees,
it's in the air, man.
The
it's
trees
everywhere.
clear carbons, right? They clean out carbons.
Okay.
There's carbons in the air.
Right.
We also contribute to putting carbons in the air.
Okay. So you're telling me not to be...
We can't, Justin. How can we stop?
You're telling us, you're saying that humans should cut down on population. You're saying that there is too many people.
We're not going to cut down on population. And it's not, yes, there are a lot of people on this planet. And yes, it does contribute. In my opinion, it does contribute. Can we do anything about it? No.
Because it's bullshit. You're fighting a fucking battle that isn't real. So, of course, you're never going to do anything about it. So what the fuck is the point of acting like you can do a damn thing differently to change it?
I never said I could. I said that we can't.
Dude, you're sitting here telling me you watch the news. They're sitting there telling you there's a lot of carbon. So you're actually believing it and saying that we are a problem. You're right, man. Climate change is real. And I'm fucking telling you that it's bullshit.
Okay.
Because it's made up by the same fucking people that we're fucking talking about not trusting.
Who, Mike Nelson?
That's what I'm talking about, man. When you say something about somebody saying something, I don't fucking take it for face value of what you're telling me they said. I'm saying who the fuck said it. Because those motherfuckers aren't trustable. So if they tell you the fucking sky is falling, I don't give a fuck because I don't believe them. That's my point, bro.
Right. And I get your point. And I also get my point. When I go outside and when I moved here.
And see what?
I see a carbon pollution in the air, right?
How?
How do you because it's a brown cloud.
That's always been there.
But it's thicker. It gets thicker, right? The more as time goes on. Huh?
There isn't one today.
Well, right, because the clouds have moved out. And it pushed it out, right? Because that's just how Mother Nature works.
Because the earth takes care of itself.
Right. But, and if...
it's bullshit. The whole climate change thing is bullshit, man. It's a fucking made up bullshit fucking ploy to make people that... I'll tell you who made it up, too. That Al Gore's... He's still
No,
out there
and I know he's still pushing
about
it, blah, blah. Pollution, so you're saying there's no pollution?
I didn't say that we're not polluting the air. I said we're not changing the climate.
It does.
It doesn't. Because if any of that shit was fucking true, man, we'd be melting right now. If any of it was true, if any of the shit they said when we were kids was true, we wouldn't even be alive.
Yeah, and they were pushing like, yes, acid rain and it's going to melt our... I'm not saying that's like that.
Right. It's just another fucking fad, man. You got people full of fear everywhere on this planet, and they know it.
I see it. I know you say that I can't see it because it's been pushed into me. But as I said, if I see, okay, when I moved here, the cloud was small, right? And as time has gone on, I see it grow. What does that mean?
I mean, I grew up here my whole life too.
Right.
I remember waking up, going to school, seeing the brown cloud across the city.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
I don't see that now. These cars are not the same cars they were when we were kids, man. You don't smell these cars. Most of them are electric now,
Most of them are
hybrids and
electric.
shit.
Hybrids and all
so
that.
It's bullshit, bro. Like the EPA is up all these factories. You don't even see the fucking smokestacks blowing shit
Not
up
anymore.
in there anymore.
Well, you still see
seriously,
the,
it's gone, dude. Like,
not the Excel one.
It's just
the steam one. That one's still there.
You know, you tell me that you need to get rid of the cows because the cows are farting too much. Now we all need to start eating fucking lab meat and shit.
Actually, you know,
it's bullshit,
supposedly
man. The
cows
whole
don't even
fucking
fart.
thing is a joke, huh?
I guess cows don't even fart, which is weird to me. But I guess it's
they
so
probably belch or
no,
something.
it's the methane that they come out. Yeah, in that one, I was like, what?
Methane
the frick?
comes out of the ground.
Well, I know methane's everywhere.
That
Methane,
burning fire pit we were talking about. That's methane coming out of that. The one
coal
that never goes out.
Was that the one in Pennsylvania or something like that? The
I can't
coal one?
remember, but
It's a
it's
weird
that
town and shit like
big
that.
ass
That
pit,
fucking,
and it's like
yeah,
it
there's
just
like
never
we
stops.
have one here, don't we?
I don't know.
I thought up by where we had that fire, the Louisville fire. I think they were trying to say that was might have contributed to that fire up there, but it didn't. It was all Excel.
Yeah,
mostly Excel. But no, they had I remember they dug out.
And there again, another corporation trying to get out of
Right,
shit.
that they
Blaming
fucking
it on
started,
everything
blamed it
else.
fucking everything. But yeah, exactly. And they fucking did all that weird shit. So the tablets, yeah, it's weird shit. It could be fucking. It is obviously a guide for population control and to. I was hoping it was just by some tree huggers. Then we watched more of these videos, and I was like, well, yeah, it is just fucking corporate, fucking weird shit that.
Well, just
the bigger people that want to
connections to Nazi Germany kind of bother me.
That one was kind of weird too.
Just because, and like I said,
and it's
I
kind
don't
of weird
think
that
Nazi Germany ever died.
Well, no, but they went to fucking Argentina. I don't
Well,
think.
not even just that. We took their scientists. We took all kinds of things.
The war
from
ended.
them.
The war ended, and that was
But
it.
I don't
And they
think
got rid of.
their
I don't think the ideals and all that shit. They just got pushed under and into different societies and shit, like underground societies.
Yeah.
It's always going to be. I mean, even still, you still have it here. You know,
Right.
here in the States, it's like we always got fucking a
Soros
white.
is still running shit. Piece of shit. Fuck that guy.
That dude. No, and it's weird because like that whole the Bilderbergers, that's the one that got me.
Right.
Because I would never have fucking connected it with the this whole stone thing. And it's like, and I know about the Bilderbergers, and it was weird to see the whole the Disney and all that. I didn't know that they were associated with the Bilderbergers. What's the other one? That's the Bilderbergers and the. I know we talked about the Rothschilds and the who's the other one? Rothschilds, you say, is the bigger one though, right?
They're pretty big. They pretty much
crazy
run shit. The Rockefellers are another one.
Rockefellers, they've made their money. Well, and that's the thing too, is they all made money off the fucking oil.
Money makes the world go round.
And stop.
Right.
Well, it does, obviously. I mean, it's funky.
Well, you never know. Like, that's the problem. It's like you never know who's pulling the strings.
No,
on
and
what.
you don't.
And you know, ever since COVID, it's made me really leery about any truth.
That one
anymore.
put a lot of fucking.
You
Well,
know,
no, and the more
like
and more, you know what? Well, especially because with all this shit coming out, with all the 9/11 and the Afghan and the towers and all that stuff, and the more and more we're finding out, digging into, I mean, just even with the Kennedy thing of how crazy and deep the government is, just the world government, it's scary.
Well, I mean, you got, you know, people that are assassins that are running around out here that, you know, have been MK Ultra'd or something. They don't even realize they're an assassin until somebody says a keyword, and then they stand up and stab somebody in the neck.
I would just, and it's weird because
it's happened 3 times, twice since that arena
There was just something recently too that they were talking about the MK. Oh, was it the man? I can't remember now. I'll have to go look for it. But yeah, they were talking about something about the MK Ultra, and I was like, wow, that's gonna. And it was actually even bigger, like bigger stars in the like hip hop world and shit like that. They were talking about. I was like, that's kind of weird that they mentioned it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, strange stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was. I was like that. I would not expect them to have brought. It was talking about the hip hop world and shit and the MK Ultra, and I was like, I would not expect that to be mixed up. But
it doesn't surprise me though, man, because they've had agents and all that stuff in the CIA agents in Hollywood for decades.
In the first one that
basically they got to make sure they mold.
That the first
reality.
one that I could kind of think of, like how you're talking about the stars and all that, is the Gong Show guy. Have you ever heard anything about? Yeah, that one was really tripped out when I was like, what? But I like to kind of look more into him, especially like finding out how you introduced me to the MK Ultra shit. Is maybe he really was actually telling the truth.
Yeah,
I mean, you never know.
There's a lot of. I mean, Warren Beatty was an agent. There's a lot of agents, man. It's a lot in.
Well, especially during the Cold War and all that stuff, there was more than
a lot of it was in the '60s when they were worried about communism. Making a big
fuss over that.
Right.
A lot of people lost a lot. Might as well have just lost all their lives to be kicked off the planet. I mean, they stripped everything: family, friends, money.
Right. Yeah.
Just for not believing into their system. If you fought their system.
Yeah, if you were a sympathizer to communism or something like that.
Or even a free thinker.
Yeah.
If you didn't think of the way that they liked you to think.
Yeah, if you were anti-war, they were really worried about you.
Yeah. Weird shit.
That was the whole Manson, Black Panther Party.
Yeah.
PSYOP. Speaking of PSYOPs.
Oh, that one. Yeah, that was a good freaking, that PSYOP thing was pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, right.
I was like, damn, it's deep, man. Yeah. That one was like, okay. But yeah, it's
everywhere, man. Everything. That's why I just said, you can tell me anything, and I'm looking behind.
Well, no, and that's the
thing.
And that's like when we were talking about, it's like, when they talk about the carbons in the air, I see pollution, right? So with my eyes, I go out and see it. I don't think, and I do believe in open.
You live in Denver.
I do.
You don't see shit.
Not as much anymore. It was weird.
Go to Sao Paulo, Brazil. That's pollution.
Go to
China. That's pollution.
Yeah, Brazil. That's
like
gnarly.
for real.
Yeah,
Sao Paulo, Brazil is one of the most.
Well, and that's where they had the
polluted
Olympics
places on the planet.
and they had to make sure that didn't they get like some athletes that got sick from the ocean
like
water?
that is
gross.
babies being deformed and shit like that from the air.
It's overpopulated, and
it is overpopulated, and it's been that way for a long time.
It's just they haven't spread out, and that's what I'm talking. When I talk about overpopulation, it's too thick in one spot of people. So I know you can't do anything about it.
Yes, you can. There's 1 million miles, man, of unincorporated land, like nothing done to it.
I know, but I don't think.
Like I said, bro, you could drive from here all the way to Kansas.
Yeah.
And there's
land
12
everywhere.
Little towns on the way there.
But how come nobody settled there before? Because
there's been plenty of people that settled there. My family settled out there.
Sorta, not like in the weird spots where you can't get water or anything or grow anything.
Where the fuck would that be?
I don't know, but I'll find it. I'm gonna find it on a map. I'm gonna be like, right here, man.
Anyway, this population shit's bullshit.
Maybe it's just because I don't like people. All right, maybe that's what it is. I just don't like people. Well, I do like people, but just not a lot of people. They piss me off. So I'm gonna blame the world demise on everybody.
I think you heard something on the news and you really believed it, and now you're trying to find things that are going to back up that little story. And I think that's what everybody does.
It might be. I don't know. I just think there's too many people, but That's just me.
All right. We're
All
going
right.
to take a break. We'll come right back and we'll get into this satanic 764 cult.
This would be good.
Yay. What's up, everybody?
What's happening? Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for hanging with us. We're going to show you a quick video real quick about this 764 group. Hold on.
How did these guys pop on your radar?
764 Group is a Satanist cult group that focuses on extreme violence. One of the main things that they focus on is extortion towards children. They believe that nothing matters. They extort children into cutting their wrists, engraving their names into their chests, their legs. They've had children commit suicide live on camera in front of audiences of people while they get cheered on. This is probably one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
What is 764? What is it?
So I'll tell you in my own words first. 764 Group is a Satanist cult group that focuses on extreme violence, and one of the main things that they focus on is sextortion towards children. They're labeled as a nihilist group, and for anyone that doesn't know what a nihilist is, it just means like they believe that nothing matters. No, like there's a group called it, but no lives matter. No human life matters. Nothing matters. That's what a nihilist is. And these people have proved over and over again that they fit exactly the description that they're labeled as. And there are a ton of offshoots of this group, which I want to make it very clear that the main reason why they do a lot of the things that I'm about to show you is to get the recognition for it. There is to get the recognition individually, even if they're part of a group or a group that, you know, they just want their group out there in any way, whether it's negative or positive. This group isn't looking for positive attention. I'll just be candid about it and tell you they extort children out of sexual material. They extort children into cutting their wrist, hurting themselves, cutting areas of their body, engraving their names into their chests, their legs, their arms, their faces. They've had children commit suicide live on camera in front of audiences of people while they get cheered on. They convince children to kill animals in their house, like their pet cats or pet dogs. They try to convince them to kill their family members, commit mass murders, bestiality, incest, you name it. A lot of it has already been done. And I have a lot of examples of that to show you today. And that is only with 2 of these groups that we've been doing passive reconnaissance on for a short period of time. There is plenty of other active investigations that are going on with other organizations and that I may or may not have involvement in. But what I can show you today is based on what Sentinel and I have found in a relatively short period of time, and it's going to blow your mind. It's absolutely disgusting, and there's more to it. But it was created by it was unbelievable. But a 15-year-old boy started this group in Texas.
A 15-year-old boy?
Where did 764 come from? Whom created it? In a recent expose regarding the sextortion networks, answers to those questions were revealed. The now infamous sextortion umbrella term, 764, was started by Bradley Cadenhead. Now before I show you his face, I want you to imagine for a second What do you think Cadenhead might look like, and how old he is? Perhaps someone bearing the likeness of Judge Holden from Blood Meridian. Or maybe someone akin to Christopher Paul Neal, otherwise known as Mr. Swirl. Maybe someone in their late 20s or early 30s. Nah, it's this kid, a pudgy ginger who wasn't even 18 years old at the time of his arrest. However dopey this kid looks, he truly is a case of don't judge a book by its cover, especially when his court documents start with this bright, bold pink text warning to parole authorities, stating, "Attention parole authorities. Prior to or upon consideration of this defendant for release on parole, please contact the undersigned district attorney's office at phone number to arrange a review of the video and photographic evidence recovered from the defendant. The evidence depicts child but also includes video and photographic materials reflecting the defendant's interest in, fascination with, and proclivity for infant murder and sexual assault, child mutilation, torture and death, human self-mutilation. The defendant is dangerous." Going through these documents, along with the news articles, paints Cadenhead in a fairly grim light. The kid had discovered hardcore pornography at 8 years old, and developed an interest in more violent, gore-orientated content a mere 2 years later, saying he watched it for the shock value. He continued to consume such content until he was 16 years old. Before his online activities were more widely known, he had popped up on local law enforcement's radar in 2018. His court documents citing various terroristic threats regarding his school, many students and even teachers filing complaints about the boy, saying he wanted to shoot up the school and go home and kill kids, along with comments on creating bombs. He would subsequently be placed under juvenile probation, but would violate his terms not long after and be sentenced to 10 days in juvenile detention. Unfortunately, leading up to his formal arrest a couple of years later, Cadenhead would continue in his online activities with his unfettered internet access, continuing to consume more violent gore and torture-related content. A turning point would come for the boy, as he stated in an interview written on his statement of facts form. According to him, he became acquainted with an unknown party through Minecraft, whom continued to deepen his fascination with such content. According to Wired's expose, Discord's security team had provided research that had showed Cadenhead had learned a variety of extortion and child grooming techniques through a Discord server called Cult. Cult itself being another sextortionist group. Its notoriety became more widely known, at least in law enforcement circles, when Caleb Christopher Merritt was arrested. He had been caught abusing and eventually abducting a 12-year-old girl. He was fortunately caught, and had admitted in his police interview that he was part of the group. He was later sentenced to 350 years in prison, with parole eligibility being at the 33-year mark. Cult itself being a breakout from the comm networks, another umbrella term used to describe a variety of cyber-based criminal activity. I spoke to a guy with his ear pretty close to the ground with regards to these networks, and he was able to clarify it for me. I quote, "Comm as a whole is a giant cesspool comprised of many different groups and offshoots of those groups. This includes 764, Leak Society, Court, 2992, NLM, 7997, etc., to name a few. Some of the groups are just basic chat groups, while others are more focused on certain activities and or ideologies. A few channels deal solely in criminal activities such as selling stolen SIMs, swatting, doxing, and in some cases, there are people who are willing to do cut signs for others at a price. Other chats are full of hateful people looking to harm others, and those chats also contain people who want to be harmed, kind of a sadomasochistic kind of vibe in my opinion. Some of the darker channels require you to do some kind of crime to get in, which they'll typically use against you if you try to leave. Sort of like gangs. Blood in, blood out. From there, Cadenhead created the now infamous 764 sextortion ring, claiming the initial server he had ran had hundreds of gore-related content, along with plenty of CSAM-related materials. The same server was able to accumulate between 200 to 400 followers. Why 764? Well, lack of creativity, I guess, as 764 is just the first 3 digits of Stephenville, Texas's zip code, the town in which Cadenhead lived. There really isn't any other significance. Before 764's more prominent reach and graduation into an umbrella term, it seemed to have been a bona fide cult, Cadenhead taking its reins of leadership, many on the server idolizing him as the cult's leader, at least according to the kid himself. Unfortunately, his reign of terror would continue for a couple of years before his arrest in 2021, as Discord had alerted law enforcement of Cadenhead's activity a total of 58 times. Before this, he and other members of the group were able to lure in and victimize many young children, primarily girls. They would lull them into a false sense of security in order to obtain explicit materials from his victims. Once he and the others had those materials, he used them as leverage to get these girls to commit various grotesque acts. From having the girls carve their names onto their bodies, otherwise known as fan signing, all the way to getting their victims to kill their pets. One particularly grotesque event mentioned in the Wired expose is Cadenhead, along with others, goading a girl known as Eve to bite her pet hamster's head off, along with committing various other forms of abuse against the girl. Unfortunately, Cadenhead wouldn't be charged with her abuse, as the Stephenville PD wasn't aware of the incident until the FBI brought it to their attention when asking for the contents of Cadenhead's computer in late 2023. Even though the boy was charged and sentenced because of the CSAM-related content, the interviewing officer in the statement of fact form says Cadenhead didn't seem overly interested in that aspect of the server he had cultivated, and was far more captured by the violent gore and torture content. He just used the CSAM to attract and keep followers within his server. The kid would subsequently be sentenced to 80 years in prison. 80 years? I mean, I think that should be the minimum, but other fairly prolific predators have garnered far less for just as horrific crimes. Sarah Vandenberg of Beneath the Surface News was able to get a clarifying statement from Lieutenant Jeremy Lehner, one of the officers whom worked on the case. Lehner saying, "To be perfectly honest, the CSAM is probably the least egregious crime he has committed. He's a scary kid. His whole thing is about online manipulation. The evidence presented at the punishment hearing showed that the defendant possessed images of young children not only being sexually abused, but also choked, beaten, suffocated, and grievously injured. The defendant used these images to coerce others into mutilating themselves, including carving his screen name into their bodies and harming animals." Sarah goes on to ask what Cadenhead's reaction to the investigation was. Lehner responded, "He couldn't have cared less."
Yeah, so that's some crazy shit, bro.
Dude, they're messing with that guy, man. I don't know who he made mad or who he found out.
Well, I mean, he stumbled upon their
empire.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess
so. Just the fact that a fucking 15-year-old kid could start all of this. So just some kid at your high school that,
just,
probably didn't have a lot of friends or something like that, but had a lot of computers.
I was going to say, had a lot of time and computers and shit like that, figured out how
what
to...
kind of twisted fuck says, cut my name in your arm and show me on... just for loyalty, and then what kind of dumbass does it?
Well, right. Well, so...
I mean, I know they're kids, and I get it. Like you said, they go after, like these kids, and they said something about anime, like they'll have anime on their backpacks and shit.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so they know who to look for. They know it just, even when we were growing up, I mean, I think that people had some kind of idea who the outcast kids were, the ones that were,
nerdy
just
is what we used to call them, like nerds or dorks.
Nerds or geeks, nerds. What was it? Posers and all that stuff and whatever. I mean, I was called all kinds of shit. I was like, I am who I am, whatever. But yeah, and that's the thing. It's like you tick off the wrong person and they're going to dig into something to try to screw you over. And that's what it seems like that guy kind of did.
Well, to have bright red writing on your parole paperwork that says, look, do not ever parole this motherfucker. That's a bad dude.
Yeah.
So I mean, it said he had like fantasies about infant murder and and they think that basically he wasn't really into the sex, like the child sex porn pictures or whatever.
Yeah.
As much as he was into like the murder and the violence,
and the control, I think. Being able to control
of course
people,
it was the control, but the murder and the violence part is what he really got off on. He didn't get off on because in that interview, they were saying, basically, he's got a proclivity to kill.
He likes
more than he has a proclivity to rape.
Yeah, well,
so it's. Dude, what a fucking piece of shit.
He obviously likes the torture part of it,
right.
But he also likes the ultimate demise.
He said he saw porn when he was 8, and that he really liked it, but he didn't like the sex part as much as he liked the violence part. So what kind of porn he was watching?
I was gonna say, man. Did he get a hold of some?
Makes me think of, remember when we were kids and like somebody had a Faces of Death movie or something?
Yeah, man.
We were like, dude, check this one out, and it was like, oh my god, I want to see that.
Yeah,
right. Shit, the whole time,
you're like looking through your fingers, and it's like, yeah, man, because
it kind of reminds me of that, where it's like they get these kids to think for a second that something is intriguing about it, and once they've stepped across that line, they're fucking stuck. Because like this one guy was saying that these kids, they do something ridiculous, they'll take pictures of doing whatever they have to do, murder pets, stuff like that, and then they'll take pictures of it and send it back to this guy or these people, thinking that they're gonna get out and that they're gonna get away from it. So like if they say they're gonna send these pictures to your family or whatever, they think that this is gonna get you off the hook, but instead they use that against you even worse.
They just keep reeling you in
and
more
keep
and more,
making it worse for you. So there was one that this girl actually killed herself on the camera in front of a whole group of people. So like I said, when he said this is the scariest thing he's ever heard, that's the reason why I wanted to talk about this. And this goes out to any of the parents that are out there, really need to pay attention to what the hell your kids are doing in school, online, on their phones, their mental states. When you see them and they're this happy little kid that you've always known, this little sweet little kid, and then all of a sudden they've got a different change of mentality. There's something going on. And this isn't the first time I've heard of stuff like this. There was I can't remember the character's name. It was on YouTube, I think, for a while, and like the kids. Somehow I got into there where it was like this like movie or something, and it was telling people telling kids to kill their family,
Moby or something like
that. It's something kind of along those lines.
I remember watching a documentary. It was years ago, but it was a guy was posing as a nurse, and he actually talked people into committing suicide on camera, and he sat there and watched them do it. He would talk them into strangling themselves, and they'd sit there and lean against the rope, and it would just slowly cut off and they just end up passing out. But he would sit there and watch them. He was posing as like a nurse from South Africa and all these other kinds of people. I know it was at least 4 people that had committed suicide. I think one was a little girl. There was a younger lady, like in her mid-20s. She offed herself, but most of them were in front of the computer where they would just strangle themselves. I think a teenage boy, I think a teenage girl, and then the lady that was in New York, and I think there was another guy. It was a husband that was, just severely going through depression, and he just knew how to work the system. And he was like, oh, blah, blah, if you really want to do it, this is, and totally just talked. And they ended up finding him after so many years, and he was a nurse in Minnesota, had a family and everything, and cops raided the house, and his wife, his daughter, and were like, what the heck? And they found out. They're like, you are a piece of junk. But you got to be careful of who people are talking to. It's especially when people are in vulnerable states. Depression, they say, isn't a thing, but it is a thing. It's a thing. And you're in a weak spot.
Well, and especially kids don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, they got so much crazy
we at
shit
least
going on.
As adults, we can kind of recognize when something's going on, something's wrong.
Right.
Whether we admit to it or, want to stay in denial or not, that's a different story. But
I think
kids don't know how to deal with especially with the social media stuff that's going on these days. It's everywhere. It's so much, peer pressure was what we had to deal with when we were kids. Where, don't let a kid talk you into smoking joints.
Right. And it's even crazy, because every kid has a freaking phone, and they have access to.
And they don't, and they are not going to show their parents when somebody's harassing them. They're not going to tell them, somebody's bothering me until it's probably too late.
Yeah.
And that's what I was kind of getting at was, just make sure that you're talking to your kids, make sure that you're checking in with them, make sure they understand that when anybody is trying to talk them into hurting themselves or doing anything to harm somebody else, that it's, obviously it's a wrong thing. And hopefully, your kid's not going to be in that position anyway to where they'll be manipulated that easily, but it does happen. And this is a sick and twisted cult. And this is a sick and twisted world we lived in. So
yeah. And it's not even just so many kids too. It's even just
adults that are
younger adults that are just
extorted with the P Diddy thing,
right?
You know, with all the sextortion stuff that was going on with that. It kind of it's all of it is along these lines. And when we were talking about evil before, that to me is evil. You need to make sure that you're watching out for your kids. So.
Kids and yourself as well.
Right. So we want to thank you guys for checking in with us on this premiere episode of Anything and Everything and Shit. And we hope that you like and subscribe. Like to see you back next week. And if you got any ideas what you guys want us to talk about,
and thanks for
ups, downs, lefts, rights, whatever's.
Yeah, I'd like to say thanks for the suggestion of the guide stones. That one was pretty good, even though we kind of strode away from it a little bit. But check out the videos, look a little bit more into it as well. It's interesting. It's funky. I mean, it is about some kind of control. Whether it was a hippie that did it, which doubt it. I was hoping, but the more I watch that video, it's Big Brother out there again. I seriously was hoping it was just a tree hugger that was like, hey, let's just be kind, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Hey, I still hope. I have hope for humanity. I do think that we're overpopulated, but I still have hope for all of us, and I love all of us. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm glad for everybody.
Yeah,
I don't want anybody going anywhere.
No, I don't want nobody to be off the planet
have
if they
babies,
don't have to.
Have a lot of babies, especially here in the United States.
It's fun trying to
birth rate
create
is
them.
down, so don't
it's
let
fun
them tell you
trying to
that
create
bullshit. All right, guys.
Peace out, man.